Hey all, Mac here. I wanted to make a quick video guide on the strategy that I'm using to farm currency in hardcore Necropolis. Now, I think this strategy is actually going to translate to softcore even better because there's going to be a lot of people mass buying corpses. So yeah, we're corpse farming. So my ally strategy is currently using not even all the skill points. I'm missing around 7 points, um, but you really don't even need some of the points that I put in here. So first and foremost, we want to take a lot of the grave nodes. We want to kind of avoid the meta ones because there's some crafts that just aren't worth that much. Um, the unresolved anguish mod just gives us more corpses, and then obviously like this devoted effects is really nice, and then this node specifically is going to make everything a tier higher, which just gives us more corpses in all flames. And so these corpses that you're farming are actually you're going to get a lot of them, and you're going to need a lot of inventory space. So I think the one downside is you kind of need multiple quad tabs, unless you're okay with selling constantly. I plan to bulk sell or use them myself, and I have been using them myself because it's been a lot of fun, but you get a lot of them. So I wouldn't recommend this unless you have the space for it, or if you're okay with just constantly selling single corpses, which again is probably going to reduce the amount you actually make because people will tend to pay a premium to get bulk. Now, some of these corpses are worth a lot. For example, additional item craft, which I have burned a couple of, have currently been sitting at 2 div. Fractures are at around 40C, 50C. There are some ones that are a little above and below. Gem scarcity is 1 div, and so on and so forth. So there's a lot of good corpses that you can get, but in general, they are worth a decent bit. The more common ones, like just any increased chance for modifiers, can go anywhere from 5 to 10C, and this should just overall pad your sort of like portfolio with a bunch of different types of corpses, so that when you do end up selling them, you have a lot of different people that are looking for corpses. And yeah, if you can find someone who's like trying to craft a GG item or something like that, they'll probably end up buying your entire bulk of a certain craft, which is going to be a pretty nice currency injection. Now, in order to make these maps go faster, I'm speccing into Nico, and I'm speccing into Shrines. This isn't really too necessary if you have a really fast character already, and if you are like at very little risk of dying. I do like the speed boost from Nico. It's 45% move speed if you get all 3 of his nodes, as well as 3% all res, which is very massive. Also, 105% damage is nothing to scoff at. So I think it's really worthwhile just to do this Nico tech. It does have like an investment of points to get 100%, which is what I have. But at the same time, you also get a payout because 10% of the sulfite that you get turns into azurite. You get a 10% chance, so still 10% overall, which actually adds up quite a bit. And you can buy resonators and sell these in bulk. So besides that, I am also running a lot of Scarab nodes. I'm taking Scarab found and less common varieties, as well as some rare monster ones, because we are getting a decent chunk of rare monsters. But overall, we're getting a lot of Scarabs from these maps as well. I have a decent collection of Scarabs right now that I'm going to be bulk selling. And, of course, we're taking Eater of Worlds because it's just really nice to get quantity. But also, obviously, Divine Altar exists, and getting that would be pretty nice. I'm also going to be blocking some of these Scarabs that are not as valuable right now on hardcore, and so this is one method to just like narrow down your pool a little bit and get some of the more expensive Scarabs. And lastly, of course, a little bit of map sustain never hurts. I am currently sitting at 3 Void Stones. I have not killed Maven yet, so that's going to have to come when it comes. But yeah, the strategy is really simple, and as far as everything else goes, that's about it. You don't have to use any Scarabs either for the strategy, but you always can if you want to run a specific mechanic. Just know that if you're running this exact Atlas, you're not going to really be buffing much. So you're just going to be probably wanting to add more mobs if you are using Scarabs. You can actually spec into Harvest as well if you want another source of like consistent income. But for me right now, I don't really want to do Harvest. I've been doing that literally nonstop for a while. So yeah. Now, to extend the video a little bit longer and actually to showcase, I did do a little craft a little bit ago, and I ended up painting a shield, which I'm using now. But it's like items like this, where it has like, you know, 5 tier 1 modifiers, and 3 that are like really GG. It's gonna make these corpses really desirable for people who want to craft like endgame items, and even for like the middle ground, I believe that there's a decent bit of like potential in using just like 20 or so corpses, maybe 30, to craft an okay item. You're probably not going to get T1 modifiers, but you will get like a decent item that you can use on like a brand new character, or just like transitioning if you are still in early maps. But yeah, I think this league mechanic is really strong, and the potential for it, not only to make currency, but also just to like, you know, craft your endgame gear is quite nice. So, until next time, ciao.